Welcome to the Ballareso Capital community, where we discuss the stock market and trading strategies to become a consistently profitable trader and investor. Hey traders, welcome back to Ballareso Capital. On today's video, we're going to go through the weekly watch list and we're also going to take a look at the market update. Remember guys that this video is for informational purposes only, it's based just on my personal opinion and is not financial advice. Also guys, remember to subscribe to the channel, that way you can get all the videos as soon as they are available. First of all, let's take a look at what was the expectation for last week. If you saw the video that I put available, that was available in the channel for the expectation for last week, we were actually looking for a possible bounce in the market and then an opportunity to short that bounce. And that's basically exactly what we got. We got that bounce into that declining 21 exponential moving average wave, and of course into that 50 daily moving average that is acting as resistance for now at least. So the expectation was of course to look for that bounce into a level of resistance and then a rejection. So we got the rejection on Thursday, but I want to talk about what actually happened on Friday, because what happened on Friday, I think that is very, very important, because it's the beginning of what could be a possible higher low in the SPX. So to analyze why I'm making the hypothesis that we're putting a higher low in the SPX, we're going to take a look at the anchor VWAP. So let me just zoom in here a little bit so that you can see the price action a little bit better. So if you take a look right here, I have an anchor VWAP from the most recent swing low that we had in the SPX. And if you take a look, you can see that this anchor VWAP has been acting as support during this entire bounce in the market until we got to that 21 exponential moving average wave and that 50 daily moving average. And then of course on Thursday we got a rejection and we got a close below that anchor VWAP. So it's very interesting to see this, because as soon as we get this close below the anchor VWAP, we can confirm that sellers are in control of the market and that the market should continue in the direction of the short-term trend. And of course, if we just use the 21 exponential moving average wave, the direction of the short-term trend is to the downside. However, what happened on Friday is that of course we got this kind of trap when we started trading below Thursday low, and then we got basically a very strong move to the upside that closed above this anchor VWAP right here. So this is the first step for a possible change in trend. So let me show you something so that you can understand this idea a little bit better. So let's use the SPX for an example. Let's use the SPX to continue to illustrate this example. So let me just use the anchor VWAP in this level right here. So usually what happens when a market gets really extended, we tend to see a pullback and a reversion back to that 21 exponential moving average wave at some point in the trend. And usually when that happens, it's really useful to anchor a VWAP from the most recent swing. So for example, if we anchor a VWAP at this swing right here, you can see that sellers are in control in the market all the way back into support. So there's no reason to get involved into the market until we get to a level that the risk favors some support, right? And that for me is the 21 exponential moving average wave. Now, what is really important is that most of the times, as soon as the price is able to get back above that anchor VWAP, then we tend to see a strong move to the upside and a continuation of the trend. So if you take a look here, as soon as we broke above that anchor VWAP, you can see that the market didn't close below that anchor VWAP all the way in that move to the upside. So that's actually pretty powerful, right? Because buyers were in control. And when we take a look at some of the same kind of idea to the downside, is basically the same. So let's just go here into one of the most recent moves to the upside, and you can do this. You can find this in almost every stock, in almost every market when we're trading in the direction of the trend. So let's do the same thing. And let me just get my drawing tools here. Let's do the same thing with the anchor VWAP from this swing low right here. So for example, in this move to the downside, if we anchor a VWAP to the most recent swing low, you can see that we close above it all the way into resistance, and as soon as the market closed below that anchor VWAP, then for the trend to continue smoothly, we shouldn't be able to close back above it, and then of course we get another sell-off. And then you can basically do the same thing. And if we just anchor a VWAP here, to illustrate this example, as soon as we start to close above this anchor VWAP, you can see right here that we never close below that anchor VWAP again, and then we change trend. So it's very important to understand that the first step to change a short-term direction is a close above that anchor VWAP or below that anchor VWAP if we're looking at the same pattern in different ways. So that's one of the reasons that I think that we probably are trying to put a higher low here in the market. So I think that the anchor VWAP is a pretty useful tool, and this is a very useful way that I have used it to find a lot of success when trying to follow the short-term trend in the markets. So that's going to be the expectation for next week. So basically, on summary, the expectation for next week is that if we continue to see another close above this anchor VWAP right here, then probably expect that the market is trying to put in a bottom and changing the direction of the short-term trend. And then of course, the level that is going to be really important is also going to be that 50 daily moving average. So if we happen to close above it, then I don't see any reason that the market is probably going to consolidate here and then continue its path to the upside. So that's going to be it for the market update. Let's take a look at some of the names that I think that are showing some relative strength in comparison to the SPX. So that's going to be the weekly watch list for next week. And of course, guys, if you want to take a screenshot or you want to write down these names, these are gonna be the names that are gonna be watching for next week, which is gonna be Carvana, Team, Annette, ODFL, and AMAT. So let's take a look. I'm just gonna cover these first three names, and then you can take a look at the other ones if you want to. So let's start here with Carvana. Why do I think that Carvana is a really interesting name going into next week? First of all, based on the price action of the SPX, I think that the expectation for next week is going to be a move to the upside. That's pretty obvious based on what I just said. So Carvana, of course, is a name that stands out because we haven't break below that 50 daily moving average. And right now, what I really love about it is that we are starting to form a little base right here, just above that 50 daily moving average. Then of course, if we take a look at momentum here, you can see that we never broke below that 50 level in the trend oscillator. And you can see right now that the momentum in the histogram of the MACD is also starting to rise. And what I find really interesting is that if you take a look here, Carvana hasn't been able to close above that 21 exponential moving average, and we happen to close above it on Friday with a pretty strong candle that basically engulfs the previous candle that we had right here. So if we happen to get an open of Carvana somewhere around this level, I don't see any reason why shorts wouldn't cover their positions and then Carvana changing its trend and moving to the upside. So that's going to be the first name, and that's going to be a focus name for me. And then the other one is going to be Team, which is also looking pretty strong here. And you can see basically the same thing. You can see that Team is trading above that 50 daily moving average. And you can see right here that momentum is above that 50 level here, which means that we tend to see more continuation into that direction that the trend oscillator is trading. And you can see right here that the MACD is starting also to put in a little bit of a double bottom here. And what I really like in terms of price action is that we're trading above the 21 exponential moving average wave. We got a pretty strong close on Friday. And if we happen to trade above this anchor VWAP right here, I don't see any reason why Team wouldn't be able to test these previous highs right here. So this one is looking also pretty strong. And then finally, the last name was Annette, A-N-E-T, which is also looking pretty strong here. So we of course got this pretty heavy selling candle right here. But even though we had that pretty strong heavy selling candle, you can see right here that we are starting to see this really small pattern candle, which in my opinion means that buyers are starting to absorb that selling pressure into this 21 exponential moving average, and that we're probably going to see a continuation of the trend, because if we take a look at what ANET is doing, we basically had a gap up, so a power earnings gap, and we continue to hold this 21 exponential moving average wave. So I don't see any reason to think that we are not going to continue in the direction of the trend. So those are gonna be the three main names that I'm gonna be watching for next week. And the level that is gonna be really important for the SPX is gonna be that anchor VWAP that we had right here, guys. So I just wanna keep this video really short and sweet. I think that we don't have to complicate anything. Use the SPX, watch for those levels, and then if you want to, you can add these names that I just shared with you to your watch list. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you have an amazing Sunday, and I will see you on future videos. Take care, and bye bye.